Colostrum. This is something that we literally spend hours talking about in the cattle world. It's no different to the small ruminants, but we just don't really have the scope in this course. But basically, colostrum is the first milk that the mum produces, and it's got all the antibodies and immunoglobulins, a little bit of extra fat, a little bit of extra sugar, and wonderful things to help support the baby because of the type of placenta that they have. The ruminant babies are born without a functional immune system. So they really need to have that colostrum to make sure that they've got a functional immune system. And they really need to get it within that first 6 hours of life. So in their little intestines, they can absorb those large proteins and molecules because the cells are kind of leaky. After about 6 to 12 hours, those cells start to really tighten up and things can't be passed as easily between those little cells. So they don't absorb those immunoglobulins or proteins anymore. They can still do a good job of coating the inside of their stomach. So they still need and can benefit from colostrum. But those key hours of that first 6 to 12 hours was when they really need to get that colostrum on board. I've had a few different clients do different things. We don't really talk about using a Brix refractometer quality of colostrum in our small ruminants, but usually it's the very first milk. Once you go past a few hours, it starts getting diluted by the normal milk, so it just won't be as high of a concentration. But that first colostrum is usually really yellow and golden and kind of syrupy, like sticky almost. And that is the really good stuff that you want to get. And if you have someone who is maybe their baby didn't make it, or you have someone who produces a lot of colostrum, you can actually milk that and then freeze it in little ice cube trays and store that for the next season. So it can last for about a year if they're stored appropriately. So my first choice would be colostrum from mom. Second choice would be, if you need to get colostrum into a baby, is colostrum from hopefully someone else, but you might not have that. You might have some stored, but you might not. And then farmlands or feed stores sell colostrum replacer, and it's okay. It's not the be all end all, but it's better than nothing. And then you could also give milk replacer. And then if you just have nothing, if it's Sunday evening and nothing is open and you don't have anything, no neighbors have anything, just whole milk will give them at least energy, fluids, some sugar if they need to. And just note that all of these other choices other than colostrum, they have no real immunity, and they're going to be potentially disadvantaged later in life. Sarah, do you want to jump in there in terms of like any other things you'd like to mention for there, or what your recommendations have been?
Yeah, a few things that come to mind just to reiterate that. So the other thing that makes it ideal is ideally if it's from a mature ewe, so it does become better quality and more of it as they get older as well. And the reason that ideally we would have it from mum or at least from someone on the property is because those animals are going to have been exposed to the pathogens that your lambs are exposed to. So if we're buying it, you're feeding something in a little one in Northland and you've store bought it and it's actually come from Australia or in the south of, or even a farm that maybe just the next town over or something, they're going to be encountering different pathogens. And by pathogens I mean germs, right? Like little bugs that live in the environment. And so you're not necessarily going to get the best protection against everything that little lamb is going to be facing straight off the bat.